Let's go ahead and bring this guy in here right now as we love visiting with him. His appearance brought to you by Peak IV Hydration. If we can drop that in the chat, I would greatly appreciate it, Caleb, as Peak IV Hydration has a location in Sevierville and South Knoxville, but they've also got the patch as well, Jacob. So they're fantastic. I know you're big fans. Tell us about Peak IV Hydration.
Oh yeah, like you said, two locations. If you click the link, you can kind of check out just what they do and kind of what's special about their product and just the things that they're able to do for everybody, right? Not just athletes like myself, but just people living their everyday life that just want to feel as good as they possibly can from a hydration standpoint. And so I definitely encourage everybody to go check it out.
Good stuff. All right, now 2 years ago, beating Florida was incredible. And this year, for some reason, it feels different in the community. I'm just curious what you've sensed after the Florida win that I think still should be celebrated, but there seems to be as many questions as excitement coming out of that game by some of Tennessee's fan base.
Yeah, you know, you. I'll start by this, right? I think winning games in the SEC is one of the hardest things to do in the sport, right? And I think that any win is a big win, and obviously we all think that. I mean, we all are very excited, like you said, that they won the game, and yeah, you sit there and you just wonder, okay, what is it, right? You start trying to point fingers, and you can point it, at the offense. You can point it at specific groups on the offense. You can say the defense didn't do, this in this specific scenario. At the end of the day, I think it is just the biggest deal to win games. As we continue to move on, if the offense has these days where they don't they don't score in the first half, or it's a low scoring first half, but they find a way to win the game, I think I mean, everybody should just be happy with it. Just be happy that we're winning the game. Obviously, the goal is to go out there, put good ball out there, entertain the fans and the people that pay all the money, and I mean, obviously you want to play well and score a lot of points for yourself as well, but end of the day, man, it's about that win column, and if we can continue to add to that and not add to that loss column, me personally as a fan now, I'm happy. But for sure, you would love to see, the offense we've seen in the past, where it's explosive and hitting those deep shots down the field that it just seems like we're just kind of off on right now, or hitting those big runs, whatever it may be. I mean, I think that it's getting to a point in the season where it's either we figure it out and we continue to have success, continue to win games, or we don't. So it'll kind of be, you'll see that'll be the determining factor. I mean, as we continue to go through these tough games.
I'm the old guy in the group. I love winning with defense, ball control, running the football. I'm not saying that it's bad to throw 50-yard touchdowns all the time,
Mhm.
but I really respect and like the way they're playing and winning, Jacob.
I think I agree with you, and again, it's not the popular opinion at all. I mean, I think that again, just because of the way that Tennessee has won in the past, this doesn't look like what it usually looks like. It doesn't look like these big, huge plays and all this other stuff. But again, like when you really break it down, you really watch kind of what's going on. Is you can say it's just not execution or whatever, or you can kind of look at it as, okay, maybe they're truly trying to take a little bit different of an approach, and I'm not saying it's working perfectly, because we end up in a game in overtime and have to squeeze one out in overtime, and then you end up losing to a team like Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying it's going to perfection if this is the strategy, but they're finding a way. And like you said, it's cool to see a defense just be maybe put in a bad situation, a sudden change or whatever, and go out there and really support their guys on the other side of the ball like that. That kind of back and forth towards the end of the half, I think it was very telling about what this team is and what this defense is. Just the ability to stop them. What I mean, get our offense back out there, backed up, whatever. They come out, they go for it on fourth down, they get it out a little bit further. Everybody's excited we might score before the half, but then the ability to go out there and stop again, it's just, I don't know. They're playing together well, and I think that that's the biggest thing.
Jacob, I get what you're saying in a lot of on a lot of aspects. And honestly, if it wasn't for you guys' season in 2022, when nobody had really had experience dealing with y'all's offense yet, and y'all were putting on a show every week, I think people wouldn't be overreacting the way they were, or reacting the way they were. I don't know if they're overreacting yet, but let me ask you, from what you're seeing from afar, what's the bigger cause of the offensive drop off? Because is it the struggles at tackle with John Campbell and Lance Hurd? Or is it the fact that teams are running this 3-2-6 defense and they've been committed to it against Tennessee, and Tennessee really hasn't adjusted yet on how to face that with this offense?
Yeah, I think sorry, I mean cut you off, but I think I think the longer that this offense goes and the longer that people see these schemes are running, obviously we're getting further into the season, so people have more recent film of what we're running and of what we're doing, front seven wise, but also what they're doing on the perimeter and kind of getting the beat on what's going on. I think, if the team does a really good job of preparing, I think that could definitely be something you're saying is like, okay, maybe this defense really just isn't a prime premier look to be running some of these plays into. And yeah, that is the job of the offensive coordinator, the head coach, all of our analysts, all the people that are working, on the sidelines. That's their job in order to get us in the best position to be successful. So, again, like I said, man, if we continue to win games, like you'll take an ugly win over a pretty loss any day. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a part of this game, and you don't want it to be like that every week. I completely understand that, but yeah, if that's how it has to be, then I guess that's just is what it is.
Compared to your preseason expectations of Nico.
Yeah.
Where has he reached those? Has he fallen short? What are your thoughts on Nico's play this season?
I think it would have been impossible for him to not impossible at all. That's not even the right way, but to say it, but it would have been very hard to reach the expectation that I think everybody is kind of just placed on him, and he places on himself. You know what I'm saying? Like he holds himself to a very high standard, and now maybe come up short in a game here or there, or maybe he doesn't perform as good as everybody was kind of hoping or wishing for. And, but overall, I think the young guy's doing a good job of seemingly controlling his guys, right, and having command of his team. And I know the guys rally around him and the guys support him and they like him a lot being back there. So, so far, obviously, we had the largest expectations for him, all the Heisman season, all this other stuff. And, if it's that, it's that. If it's not, it's not. But if he can continue to do the things that matter, you know what I'm saying, and that's facilitate his guys, get the ball in his playmakers' hands, and protect the ball. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, is protect it. That's the biggest deal. Is he touches the ball every play. So if he can protect that ball and get his guys in the right spots, I think he's doing just fine.
Yeah. So Jacob, what do you think of with the changing defensive schemes? Do you think that do you notice the interior of the line? Cooper Mays, Javonte Spraggins, and Andrew Carrick. I want to talk a little positive for a minute. Does it seem like they're doing – how good of a job do you think they're doing of wearing teams down in the fourth quarter? Because I felt like Heupel shouldn't have even put the ball in the air in the fourth quarter because it seemed like Dylan Samson was gashing them by that point.
Yeah, I think that's what's funny about – not what's funny, but what's cool about just offensive line play is that, everybody only sees the really big mistakes or they see the big protection bust, like breakdowns or whatever. But I appreciate the fact that you see those guys in the middle, like going to work, right, and just absolutely putting it on people. And I think our defensive front did the same exact thing. I think they fired off the ball, they're getting in the backfield, whatever it may be. But when you have an interior like that, that can truly just for 4 quarters just go after guys and have the same relentless attitude and effort in their play. That truly really wears down on defensive lines. I've seen it firsthand. And like these defensive lines don't even want to fire off the ball anymore. They don't want to get in their stances. They don't want to make their stunts. Like everything just slows down. And that's when you see those runs at the beginning of the game that are, 2-3 yards, maybe even like a no gain. You see those runs turn into 5s and 6s. And then you see Dylan Sampson bring a big one. And you wonder like, okay, what changed? It's really just, it could have been the same exact play. It's just the way that the offensive line has been able to just be physical in the middle and handle business has really opened up doors for Dylan Sampson to have many huge games. He had 112 or 113 or something yesterday, 3 touchdowns, like had an amazing day and is really on track. I saw some comments, is really on track to, school record and rushing yards and touchdowns and all this other stuff. So For sure, credits to those guys that are doing a lot of work for him.
Tough question here. Okay. What's been more impressive, the defense or Dylan Samson?
That is a tough question, because we truly haven't had a guy that, like, we've had skilled guys, I have to say, just as skilled as Dylan Samson for sure. Like, as far as balance, we've had some great backs. We've had, Jalen Wright, and you've had Jabari, and you've even, going back, a while, right? You have had some amazing backs here. And, so I don't want to discredit them, but, he's doing things that people haven't really done in a while, right? He's on pace to set records. So I think it truly is very, very impressive from my perspective of what Dylan Samson's doing. And I hate to say it, but you almost expect this kind of play out of your defense. And I have seen a good defense before, and I think this is just a really good defense. And I am, yes, 100% impressed, but I've also feel like it's almost more standout, if you will, of Dylan Samson's season so far than, which sounds crazy because our defense is playing really well.
I know. It's an impossible question to answer. I guess I'm more surprised that Samson's been able to carry as much as the load. Yeah. I'm not surprised by his playmaking ability, but the fact that he hasn't needed to be spelled very often.
Yeah, he's tough, dude. He's tough. He runs the ball tough. He runs the ball, hard. Obviously, he takes what the defense gives him and understands how our offense works, understands that, he'll get his touches, and he's gotten plenty, right? Obviously, he's the guy we want to feed the most. Sean Bishop's doing a great job backing him up. And, what I'm saying? It's awesome to see him capitalize on his opportunity and truly lead the offense whenever it has these moments of struggle.
Portions of the program brought to you by Quality Tire Pros, serving Chattanooga's community since 1957. All major brands of tires, full service automotive, brake alignments, oil changes, and more. QualityTirePros.com. QualityTirePros.com. Stop by and tell Bo that Off the Hook Sports and Dave Hooker said, "Hey, Bo." Okay, Caleb, take over.
So, Jacob, what do you think of? I mean, I am going to put you on the spot a little bit here, because I know one of these guys was your teammate, so I know you got to be nice. But what is going on with the tackle play, though? Because that's 2 weeks in a row. The mistakes they're really compounding, and I think they're making this play.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely only so much you can do in the sense of supporting and backing up a guy and continue to vouch for people and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that I'm done doing that, but there's a point, and you got to look in the mirror and you got to say, okay, what is the problem, right? I'm not saying any one specifically is the problem. I think they just kind of sometimes can get caught up in situations that just aren't great, right? They feel like they're in a good spot, and I've been in the same exact position before. They feel like they're in a good spot in protection. They feel like they've got good relation with the quarterback to the rush, and we've got a mobile quarterback, right? We've got a quarterback that, almost loves getting out of the pocket and loves moving around, being able to make throws on the run, and also being able to make plays with his feet. I think when you have a guy like that, it's kind of like hit or miss of whether he's going to be in that pocket, whenever you're at the back of your set. So you see a lot of, I saw a chat. I was literally just about to talk about this, saw a chat that said it's really just Nico scrambling and getting out of the pocket and our guys holding on, right? I think that's such a natural reaction when you feel your guy separating, is to grab. And you truly see them get stuck in just some bad spots here and there. But they also kind of put themselves in some bad spots here and there where they're out of position or lazy with hands or whatever it may be. And like John Campbell, again, one of my good buddies, like we are close, right? And I really enjoy watching him play. I know he's an amazing player, and just the way that I guess things have transpired, nothing changes about how I feel about that. And I know Lance Hurd is an amazing player. They wouldn't have brought him here if he wasn't. And so I think it's just a matter of those guys, and like those guys too haven't been playing that much ball this season for whatever reason it may be. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There's been other guys in the game. There's been whatever. So as it settles, if these guys can continue to stay healthy and continue to just stack weeks on each other, I think eventually, they'll truly find a groove. And again, two of the more talented tackles that I've seen physically. So I think, there's no question about how good they are at football. It's just a matter of being able to settle in and just find it, man. I think that's all it is.
I want to defend them for a moment because we know that John has the bursa sac issue and Lance Hurd had a high ankle sprain. So they're not healthy. If you want to get healthy, National Fitness Center, unmatched value, limitless options, begin your fitness journey today. That's where I was this morning. Do you like how I worked that read in there, Jacob?
The guy's a pro, man. He's a pro.
National Fitness Center. I was there this morning getting showed up by younger, stronger guys. But anyway, it's a great place to work out. Several locations near you. They're not healthy, but you would think they're getting healthier. However, I'm of the belief that big guys that big don't really get that much healthier once the season begins. You can only get so far back. So at what point do you think maybe Larry Johnson or Dane Davis, just focused on one position, not being the utility guy, may get more of a shot? Or do you think that's even on the table?
Yeah, I think I completely agree with what you're saying. You know, you see guys like Cooper, right? And you have a great relationship with Cooper. I got a great relationship with Cooper. Cooper is and I will always say this, one of the toughest people physically and mentally that I know, as far as, football and being able to overcome adversity, overcome injuries, and just little things that are nagging him or whatever. I see him tape all of his hands up and his wrists and his fingers. He looks like he's not even the human, dude. He looks like a little mummy or something. But he is so tough, man. And to be an offensive lineman in this league, that's the way you have to be. And I think the way I look at it is if you're going to be on the field and you're going to say, yeah, I'm healthy enough to go, that means you're the best option at that point. And if a 80% starter is better than a 100% backup, then you play the 80% starter. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know who's better. I don't know who's winning that battle. I don't know who deserves to be playing because I'm not on the team anymore, obviously. But that's always my thing on it is like, yeah, if the starter might have an injury or whatever, if he can't perform as good with his injury than the backup, that's why you have backups. That's why you create depth in your rooms, is to be able to rely on guys to step in and to make plays for you. So, again, if that's the case, that's the case. I don't make those calls, and I happily do not have to make those decisions. But, you just got to trust that the coaching staff and the guys will be honest with themselves and put the best guy on the field to get the job done.
Well, great stuff as always, Jacob. Again, I think I'm befuddled that Tennessee fans aren't more excited about a win against Florida. I don't care how it happened.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, and I mean, we had a poll question earlier. The biggest takeaway from the Florida game was concerns about Nico or the fact that they won, and concerns about Nico trumped it. I mean, that's the other thing that, again, I'm older than you, but Caleb remembers this. Used to be if you lost a game and there was just a 2-team championship game, you probably weren't going to make it.
You weren't making it, right.
But now it's 12 teams. I mean, if they handle business against Alabama, which is a big if, but if they do that,
test,
and they're beatable, then you go into an off week and you're able to get those tackles healthier and better. I think it's all out there, and I don't understand some negativity.
I can almost 100% guarantee you that is the exact message that Coach Heupel is saying. Everything is out in front of us. I remember that's always been the motto. That's always been the way that he's felt, is that regardless of what's happened, everything is in front of us. Like, nothing is behind us. Nothing you can change. Nothing you can do about the last games, whatever. It's just a matter of, putting one foot in front of the other and just going out there and doing it. And I, again, 100% agree with you, man. I think nobody, I've said this many times, nobody in the world, no Vol fan, no anybody wants to win more than the guys in that room. So I will tell you, they will do everything that they can to win these games. And I promise, like, regardless of the struggles, regardless of anything, like, this game is tough. And so I would just say, have some mercy, man, and just be a fan. Just enjoy going to the games. Enjoy, listening to the guys talk to the media. Enjoy, seeing the guys' reactions on the sidelines. Like, this is what this sport's about, and just continue to support the guys, support Coach Hype, support Nico, support our tackles, like, support everybody, dude, because they need it and they appreciate it more than I think a lot of people know. So,
Well, yeah, I appreciate you, Jacob. Have a blessed day. Again, Peak IV Hydration. People can order the patch online. They've got like 1 million 5-star Google reviews. I've used the energy patch, and it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they're the real deal, man. Go check them out.
Thanks, Jacob. I appreciate it. Jacob Warren, former Tennessee football player, VFL.